What if we're not alone? Not as a theory, but as a probability supported by science. And what if, while humanity fights its wars, builds its weapons, and moves closer to the edge of its own destruction, something far more advanced is watching, not interfering, not helping, just waiting? Because according to modern astronomy, the universe is not empty. It is vast beyond comprehension, containing over 200 billion trillion stars, many of them surrounded by planets we are only just beginning to discover. And in 2021, a study published in the journal Nature revealed something that most people never think about. More than 2,000 star systems are positioned in a way that allows them to observe Earth using the same technique we use to detect distant worlds, the transit method, which means if intelligent life exists in those systems, they could already know we are here. And here on Earth, we continue as we always have, fighting wars, dividing nations, repeating patterns that stretch back thousands of years, from ancient empires to modern conflicts, from territorial battles to global tensions that shape the future of entire civilizations. Conflict, power, survival. But from a distance, from far beyond Earth, beyond our galaxy, what does humanity actually look like? In science, there is a question that has never been answered, a question so simple that it becomes unsettling the more you think about it. It's called the Fermi Paradox. If the universe is so vast, and life should be common, then where is everyone? Because statistically, we should not be alone. Civilizations should have emerged millions, even billions of years before us. They should be more advanced, more developed, more powerful. And yet, we see nothing, we hear nothing, we find nothing. But what if that silence is not emptiness? What if it is something else entirely? Because statistically, we should not be alone. Civilizations should have emerged millions, even billions of years before us. They should be more advanced, more developed, more powerful. And yet, we see nothing, we hear nothing, we find nothing. What if that silence is not emptiness? What if it is something else entirely? Some scientists have proposed a theory known as the zoo hypothesis, the idea that advanced civilizations may already be aware of us, but deliberately avoid contact, not because they can't reach us, but because they choose not to interfere, but to observe. Because from that perspective, humanity might not look chaotic at all. It might look predictable. A repeating system. Rise, conflict, collapse, repeat. And maybe that pattern is not unique to us. Maybe every intelligent civilization goes through this phase, a stage where it develops powerful technology, but has not yet learned how to control it. And that stage might be the most dangerous point in its entire existence, because eventually every civilization reaches a moment where its own creations become a threat, where one decision, one conflict, can affect the entire planet. We are approaching that moment now. Artificial intelligence advancing faster than regulation. Nuclear weapons capable of ending civilization within hours. Global instability increasing, not decreasing. And if something out there is watching, it may not be watching our cities. It may not be watching our technology. It may be watching something far more important. Our choices, every conflict, every escalation, every moment where humanity stands between destruction and restraint. Because intelligence alone may not be enough to survive. And that leads to a darker possibility. If advanced civilizations don't intervene, not because they can't, but because they are waiting for a very specific moment. A moment when a civilization reaches the edge, when its own actions push it toward irreversible collapse. A moment like global war. Because from their perspective, intervening too early would change the outcome. It would interfere with the natural development of a species. But intervening too late would be pointless. So they wait. And if they are millions of years more advanced than us, then time itself means nothing to them. They could watch centuries pass as if they were moments, observe entire generations rise and fall, just to understand one thing: what kind of civilization we become. And then comes the most unsettling thought of all: what if they are not just watching, but preparing? Because a civilization capable of interstellar observation would not think like we do. It would not act like we do. It would not need invasion. It would not need war. It would already understand control. Imagine technology capable of shutting down every weapon on Earth instantly, disabling nuclear systems before they can launch, overriding global communications without destruction, not through force, but through complete dominance of systems we don't even fully understand yet. That is not science fiction. That is simply what advanced technology eventually becomes. So what if they are waiting for that exact moment? The moment when humanity is about to destroy itself, not to save us, but to decide, because from their perspective, a civilization that cannot control its own power, that repeatedly chooses destruction over cooperation, may not be ready for anything beyond its own planet. And maybe this is not about invasion. Maybe it is about selection, who survives and who doesn't. Because in a universe this old, we are not the first civilization to reach this point. And maybe we won't be the first to fail it either. So, the silence we hear might not be empty. It might be observation. And if something has been watching all along, if something has seen every war, every decision, every turning point in human history, then the real question is not, are they watching us? It's, what are they waiting for?